all you wonderful fathers who are KCOH listeners, happy Father's Day. This is The Cut on 1430. I'm Alicia with your hosts, Marcus Coleman and Craig Shelton. Juneteenth, or Emancipation Day, is the oldest known celebration commemorating the ending of slavery in the United States. Dating back to 1865, it was on June 19th that the Americans enslaved were finally free. Juneteenth is now a Texas holiday with celebrations happening in Houston from June 14th till 19th.
And with that, we want to welcome you guys to this week's presentation of The Cut right here on 1430 KCOH AM. I'm your host, Craig Shelton, as my niece said, and I'm joined. Hey guys, we're having a little fun today, but not just a little fun. Today's show is going to be a little bit unique because not only are we going to have fun, we're going to have a very serious show today in one context, because HoustonMediaWatch.com is the blog that I write for, www.HoustonMediaWatch.com, and we are a media watchdog group. And what we do is we try to keep an eye on how the media, and a lot of times, in particular the sports and entertainment media, are covering athletes, entertainers, and alike. Well, one person, a really good friend of mine, by the way, Will Lyles, is someone who's been in the media for quite some time, last few months. After a story broke on Yahoo that was fed via ESPN and University of Texas, that's just my opinion. Some of that is fact, some of that is just my opinion. Okay, it's all fact because I said it is. Will Lyles, in my opinion, in the opinion of others, was kind of laid out flat on his back in the media, and I believe that it was because Will kept his mouth shut when the Yahoo story broke. And one thing that happens in the big bad media is either you're going to tell us what we want to know and what we want to hear, or we'll make it up for ourselves. Now, I will give credit to a few people in this city, people like Lance over at 1560 The Game, who, like myself, probably was able to dig into some things, and professionally, I believe Lance conducted himself very, very fairly in regard to how Will Lyles was covered. And there was a minority of a few others. But for the most part, I felt that the coverage wasn't fair. Will has only really interviewed with one person nationally, and that was Jason Whitlock. Right here on The Cut, we are the first people to talk to Will Lyles in person. First interview done in Houston with any media outlet. Right here on KCOH 1430 AM. Did I say retaliated? You did. On the show? Yes, you did. Known for having a very aggressive black eyes? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to roll with that. We are retaliating by having Will Lyles in the studio today with us right here on The Cut. So, hey, happy Father's Day, because that's the way we get out, man. So, and I want to say happy Father's Day to everyone. The good fathers, some of you mothers are fathers. You know, you play both roles. My mom did it. So I want to say happy Father's Day to you. And you guys who make it hard on us by not paying your child support and acting a dang fool, I want you guys to know that you can run, but you cannot hide from the mighty, mighty, mighty Attorney General. Will Lyles, I got to be honest about some things. Will Lyles and I are friends. So that doesn't mean that I can't be objective in questioning Will and trying to poke some holes in maybe some things he says. But I felt that I'd be remiss if I didn't come out and say that Will and I are friends. We got together via Ralph Cooper's show. We worked together for a few months, so I have a vested interest in Will as a friend, so I'll say that out of the gate. So I'm open for any criticisms in that regard if you don't like what you hear today on the show. That being said, we'll give Will an opportunity to say hello. And also we have Terrence Wright from Tennessee State, running back. He's in the studio with us. And we also expecting Michael James from Oregon, running back at Oregon, to give us a call on the show here today. So we're going to have a Will Lyles hour, I'll say that. And we will also talk about Amon Green's comments about Rick Smith and my co-host Marcus Coleman and his bitterness and his anger towards the Texans and his response in regard to those comments. But let's go ahead and give Will an opportunity to say hello and greet everyone. Will, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on The Cut.
Glad you can be here, my man.
It's a good thing to see that you guys have a show on Sundays. We finally have something good to listen to.
Yep. You know what? We just try to keep it honest around here and don't really pull any punches.
No, won't be pulling any today.
Your punches pretty much in the face.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. All right, well, look, Will, let's get rolling. Let's not play any games. Let's get rolling. I researched some of the things that I saw. What I did to prepare myself for this is I researched a lot of what I saw in the media, things I've talked to you about in the past, very frank with you about, some things I got from people that are in the field, and then some things that you and I have talked about. So I kind of put together some things that I thought would kind of cover both sides of that gambit and ask some frank questions. And I think one thing that people need to know a little bit about is explaining exactly who you are in regards to high school recruiting, what it is you do, so they'll get a general understanding of that real quick.
Okay, I can do that. I have a company called Complete Scouting Services, and what I do is I profile high school football talent, and universities purchase my service to help them recruit. So I'm a consultant for universities, and it's a needed thing for the universities because they have limited time when it comes to recruiting. So that's basically what it is that I do.
Now, what's so unique about your service? Are you any different than any other service that does the same things? I mean, what about your service would make you stand out to the point that you would have been targeted for the type of controversy that you found yourself involved in, brother?
Well, the thing that was targeted was my relationships with the players that I worked with, and that some people felt that I was a little bit too close to the players, and they felt that I'd garnered too much influence because other coaches wanted to try to be that influence, or the college coaches wanted to be that influence, and they had a mediary or someone that can speak on their behalf that has the experience in discussing it. So in some instances they liked it, some they didn't. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Well, you yourself, I mean, let's look at that first point. Are you too close to the players? Would you have done anything differently after all of this?
I wouldn't change a thing that I did, because in dealing with young men and dealing with parents, you grow to have relationships with people, and the dynamics of relationships change on a day-to-day basis. So there's no reason for not being close to a player. I don't think there's anything inappropriate about that. Sometimes I just feel that, when they have someone that kind of looks like them, it's an issue. That they actually listen to someone that kind of looks like them, that kind of understands where they come from.
Guys, you're listening to The Cut right here on 1430 KCOH AM. I'm Craig Shelton. My co-host here is Kcoh, and we have Will Lyles in studio. And this is Will Lyles' first live interview with any media source here in the city of Houston. Marcus?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I know there's a lot of speculation, especially since I've been through that process, all the way through. Just give an idea of what exactly a third-party recruiter, is and does per se.
Well, to me, in my opinion, a third-party recruiter is someone that's other than the child's family that has the ear of the individual, to say the least, that they actually take advice from, that aren't their family members, like high school coaches, recruiting services, things of that nature. So I feel all those in whole are third. Out-of-state schools find it a little tougher to recruit the state of Texas because in certain instances, high school coaches don't really like dealing with out-of-state schools at certain times, and they don't feel like they feel it's an unfair advantage for the in-state schools when they come in and try to recruit the players out of that state.
Right, and that kind of leads into my next question. What is the real role that high school coaches play in third-party recruitment?
Well, high school coaches have lots of influence. They're with the kids on a regular basis as far as the season is concerned, and a lot of things go on behind closed doors at high schools that we don't know about. With high school coaches and college coaches, there are a lot of different ways that high school coaches can be paid by universities, whether it be speaking engagements, whether it be coaching in camps, and things of that nature to help garner influence from those individuals to help that kid come to a certain school.
Right here on KCOH 1430 AM.
Yeah, you know what? I know this is a touchy topic. Is there any real racism in high school recruiting, or recruiting in general? Especially dealing with younger kids and dealing with different universities and that nature.
I feel that it is. It's quite a bit, because I didn't invent this game. I wasn't the only person out there with the recruiting service, and nobody else has really been targeted at this point. I was the person who was brought up in the media and made the poster child for recruiting services. Other people that were brought up were Corey Robinson, a guy out of South Carolina, Baron Flannery, another guy out of Dallas, Texas, and and Sean Nelson out of Louisiana. And the one thing that all three of us have in common is that we're African American.
Okay, but is racism the only reason why Complete Scouting Services, your service, was targeted? I mean, let's talk about the Texas angle, University of Texas angle, and ESPN. No secret, ESPN is NBA with Texas with that new reported, what, $300 million?
20 years, $300 million deal.
So there's a clear relationship there, okay? Just like I led the show by saying, hey, you're a friend of mine.
Right.
I didn't recall ESPN talking anything about their relationship with Texas when they started going in on you and your scouting service. I watched the Texas spring game, and for some reason your scouting service came up in the middle of the Texas spring game. So is this all about racism, or is this something else? Is this some type of competitive? What's going on?
I wouldn't say that it's all about racism. I think, in a sense, it plays a small factor in it, but I think there are bigger factors at hand, and I feel that.
What are those factors?
Those factors are dealing with University of Texas in the past, and dealing with some of the coaches on their staff. I felt that they wanted to see my demise because I felt that they thought that it would help them as far as their recruiting goes.
Right. Guys, that's Will Lyles right here on The Cut on Kcoh 1430 AM. We are the first guys to have Will on and in the city of Houston, and we're really thankful to Will that he understood the need to talk locally, but we definitely appreciate the fact that he understood the need to show some love over here at KCOH, and we definitely appreciate that. And I think I can, for one time, I can speak for myself, Marcus, and Ralph on that, because we all us guys, we work hard in this market. You know, we don't always get our just due, but I think we worked hard in this regard with your story, and I think we've been rewarded by getting an opportunity to speak to you first. And speaking of rewarding, you want to reward yourself?
To make it look like it was shady or something wrong with it, because a kid that I work with signed with them. I operated within the NCAA rules. I didn't do anything wrong.
What are the rules? Is there a certain amount you should be paid for your services?
There's no limit on what you can be paid. You just have to follow a few bylaws.
Did you follow those bylaws?
I followed those bylaws.
Okay. Was the $25,000 fee an exorbitant fee, though? I mean, even though it was a legal fee, but is that a fee that should bring suspicion to you?
No, there are other services that actually charge more and the same price that I actually charge, but when the store was reported on ESPN, they were saying that the average service is paid $5,000.
Right.
That's not. I don't really feel that they did the research.
Is there anything behind that? Because you said there's, in your interview with Jason Whitlock, you said there's no basement or there's no ceiling. Basically you set your own price.
Right.
Depending on who you are.
If I want to charge $1 million and the school deemed me worth paying $1 million to, they can pay it. But we know that's an exorbitant fee. But if there's no ceiling or there's no basement on it, so you can be paid what you feel that you deserve to be paid.
Have you seen people that operate the same type of services you operate pay more than that $25,000 fee?
Well, I know that company Kcoh gets paid between $50,000 to $75,000 for a national package.
Kcoh?
Yes.
Now, what is a national package? What is that?
National package, you cover basically all of most of the states in the United States, and you give them film, player information, things of that nature to the universities. The one thing I felt that my service provided that other services don't provide is that I actually evaluate football talent. I just don't send them a gang of film. I send them film. Say, for instance, a scouting service sends 500 to 1,000 films, and they only find about 10 to 12 kids that can play for them. Mm-hmm. And I send them 30 to 40 films, and they can find 20 kids that can play for them. Which would you rather have? Because first, you don't want to look at 500 films. Second is, if I make your job easier, I deem that that's something that's worth having, because it makes your job easier and you don't have to spend as much time in recruiting because you already have everything you need pretty much right in front of you.
So just to be clear, the information that you give to these universities, wherever it may be, you basically place your own value on that information, or do you guys come to a compromise? And why does, if the NCAA if they're making such a big deal out of this, especially with you guys, with your service, why haven't they set any bylaws, or why isn't there, a certain fee, or you can only charge this much and donate this much, or why hasn't there been, something written in paper, and some structure to where everybody can operate efficiently?
Well, what they're doing now, that's what they're doing at this point. They're trying to find out as far as the rules are going to go as far as conducting scouting services, and what they're going to change the bylaws up. They're going to completely restructure the whole thing. But at the point that we're discussing, the bylaws were pretty set, and they just didn't. They really didn't. They didn't have anything to go on. The NCAA wasn't really the ones that were coming after me at first anyway, because the media blitz was the biggest thing.
Right. So
they felt that they had to, upon that, because there was such a stink about it, which was made by ESPN. So that was one of the big reasons they felt that they needed to look into me or investigate me, because of the media attention that it got.
Also, guys, okay, that's Will Lyles from the Police Scouting Services in studio with us right here on the Cut today. We've got two guys, one on the phones, we got one in studio. Let's go ahead and get my man off the phones, because he's on the phones. I'm not going to change. I want to stay away from too much of my personal opinions in regard to Will. But I'm human, so I'm not gonna, and I never fake with you guys in front of you guys. I'm not surprised that you're relating well to parents, because I know you're a guy. You're a very personable person. But we also have opportunities. We have many people in recruiting and other things that are great mouthpieces. I'm pretty much the face of Houston Media Watch, and the mouthpiece of Houston Media Watch. But we have some very sharp guys behind me. One in studio a month, to name others, to name one of others. And just because I got a mouthpiece, don't mean that I'm not capable of getting myself in some trouble every now and then. Will, did you get yourself in some trouble, man? Just did you do anything wrong?
In my opinion, no, I didn't. I felt that the criticism came. There was a lot of speculation, innuendo. I felt that it was brought about in a very meticulous manner, and it was very well staged and set up. And it didn't have
staged and set up by who?
By University of Texas.
Why?
Because they did not want to see me in recruiting. First off, they lost out on. They felt that they lost out on kids. That
give me a name. Give me a kid.
Lake Seastrunk is the kid that was in question about Oregon, and why they're trying to say basically that the kid signed there because I got paid $25,000. I persuade the kid to sign.
So this is the problem about the whole $25,000.
Right. This is the problem about the $25,000. They're trying to say basically I influenced that kid to go to that university.
Do you think there are any scouting services that has ever been paid to influence a kid to go to Texas?
I mean, I guarantee you there have been high school coaches that have. I don't know about scouting services. I know they deal with a few scouting services themselves. They actually used to be a client of mine when I was with MSL Sports in 2007. And when I didn't want to steer kids their way, that's when the relationship became strained. Mm-hmm. So that's when they began the issue, or in a sense almost vendetta against me personally.
Wait, when you say you may need to clean that up, just so
that's fine.
Because you just said steer kids that way. Now, explain that a little more in depth. Because if you tell me that you're steering me some kind of way, or if like God is steering me this way, then that means I'm being advised, or I'm being told this is where I need to be, this is where I need to go. So is that basically what you're doing?
No, this isn't what I'm doing. What's going on is I'm providing kids opportunity. I don't tell them where to go to school. They make those decisions themselves with their families. And it's not my decision to make for them. All I want to do is provide extra opportunity for the kids and let them see that just what's in front of them isn't what's really just out there. It's a big world out there.
So you get more.
Go see it all.
You get more background on the school. You may help the kid weigh pros and cons of the family weigh pros and cons of the school, and that's your as far as you go.
And that's the gist of it.
Guys, I got to get this in real quick. Great conversation, folks. We got Will Lyles in studio from the Police Scouting Services. Will has been the battle.